when you hear the term AI agent, what actually comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's this weird mix of hype, confusion, maybe a little bit of skepticism. Is it a robot? Is it just making decisions by itself now? Is it here to replace us? Okay, let's cut through the noise and get a real practical answer.
Right. This is the big question, isn't it? What is an AI agent actually doing inside a real business? Let's just forget the sci-fi stuff for a minute. What we really want to know is, what's its job description? And to figure that out, we're not going to start with some abstract AI definition. Nope. We're going to start with something everybody in business knows, something that happens every single year and is way, way more complex than it looks: the renewal process. Because it turns out that renewals are kind of the perfect test case for understanding what an AI agent is really for, and maybe even more importantly, what it is not for.
Think about it. A renewal looks totally straightforward until the last minute. And then, suddenly, you get new info. The number of people on the plan changes right before the deadline. What was a simple process just got really complicated.
And the data itself, it's almost never clean. You get this critical information, but it's all messy, it's out of sequence. It doesn't just slot neatly into that perfect automated workflow you built. Someone, a human, has to notice that this is weird.
And then you have the human element. A key stakeholder pipes up with a last-minute concern. Now, this isn't a data problem. It's a judgment problem. There's no simple if-then rule that can solve this. It actually requires some thought.
So here's the real kicker. For years, we've been trying to automate these processes with more and more rules. And that's fine for the 80% of cases that are simple, but the part that never, ever scaled, the part that always needed a person to step in, was the thinking. Just the basic ability to notice when something feels off. And that right there brings us to what the agent actually does. And I'll tell you, its real job is probably not what you think it is.
This is probably the most important distinction to get right. On the left, you see what the agent doesn't do. It doesn't run the process. It doesn't try to take over. Instead, look at the right. Its real job is just to watch the process as it happens, paying attention to all the moving parts.
And because it's watching, not running, it also doesn't make decisions. This is absolutely critical. It makes recommendations. It flags things for a person to look at. I mean, in a high-stakes process like a renewal, the last thing you want is a system silently making some risky choice on its own. A great way to think about it is like this. The agent is that one team member who has the time to look at everything and just quietly raises its hand when it spots something that doesn't quite add up. It's not the boss. It's an assistant whose only job is to make sure the right things get your attention. Okay, so if that's its job, then you're probably wondering, well, how is this different from the AI we all use, like a chatbot? And that's a great question, because the difference is really important. A chatbot is reactive. It just sits there. You have to go to it and ask a specific question like, hey, is everything okay with this renewal? But an agent is proactive. It notices situations. It's already watching in the background, so you don't even have to ask. It tells you when something needs your attention. So all of this leads to what is, for any professional, the most important question of all. If this thing is watching my work and flagging things for me, how in the world do I know I can actually trust it? The short answer is yes, but, and this is a big but, only if it operates within very clear, very strict boundaries. Trust is never automatic. It has to be designed into the system right from the very beginning. And these are the hard and fast rules. These are the boundaries. An agent should never be allowed to approve pricing. It should never finalize a renewal. And it should absolutely, positively never act without a human being in the loop. The second it breaks one of these rules, all the trust is gone. The second piece of trust is all about context. You know how renewals fail? It's when data is scattered all over the place. Some in the CRM, some in a spreadsheet, some in an email chain. An agent is only helpful if it sees the full picture for that one specific renewal right now. Otherwise, it might sound confident, but its recommendations will be totally useless or maybe even dangerous. All right, let's move on to the final piece of the puzzle here. This is about reframing what the ultimate goal is. Most people hear AI and they immediately think it's all about speed. But in this case, that's not really the main point. The common assumption is that agents are here to make renewals go faster. But let's be honest, for the simple, easy renewals, our old automation is already plenty fast. The
The real goal of an agent is to give you confidence when you're dealing with those messy, uncertain cases. The ones that keep you up at night.
So this all comes together in a totally new workflow, a new order of operations. First, you get signals and explanations, so you understand what's going on. Then the agent suggests where you should focus your attention. And then, the most important step, the human decides. It's only after that human decision that automation finally executes the task. This order is everything. And the whole system, the entire idea of trust and value, it all depends on keeping this exact order. If you let the agent skip ahead to making a decision, or you jump straight to execution without that human check-in, the whole thing just falls apart. The sequence is non-negotiable.
Which brings us to a final thought. By handing off the job of noticing to an agent, you're not making your role smaller. You're actually elevating it. Your job becomes less about hunting for problems and more about what we humans do best, exercising judgment. So if the agent is handling the watching, what crucial decisions are you going to focus on now?